is also divine. Let me go back on what I just said. More nevuchim in that sense is also divine. If Rabbi Rabbs says, okay, I'm explaining to you right now what the Torah says according to Rashi, that's also divine. When I'm saying that, I'm also divine because I'm quoting the oral tradition that comes from Torah, that comes from Mount Sinai. That is divine.
So when Rabbi Rabbs accurately quotes Rashi...
Correct. When I accurately, thank you for that. Because I might misquote him from time to
time. That is divine.
Absolutely. When I accurately quote Rashi, that is divine. Absolutely. If I make up my own shot like Dennis Prager, no, that is not divine. That's just moronic and shows ignorance and heresy.
So I think that... Now, I know we're always hammering and disagreeing on this. When I say I'm going to study the Torah, could there be any doubt that I'm going to study the 5 books of Moses?
No. If you're going to study the Torah in my book, in my mind, that means you're learning Judaism. That
the
means
Torah. So you hear people
when I say the Torah, Torah has many different definitions. But when someone says to me, I'm going to go study the Torah, that means they're going to study Judaism, oral Torah, and everything that comes from it, all of its streams. That's what they're going to go learn.
How come people say, I'm going to study Torah then? They didn't
That's what I just answered that.
Try listening.
I just answered
Try
that.
listening.
Yes, sir.
And they use the definite article, the Torah. It means something different than when they don't use the definite article and just say, I'm going to study Torah.
No, that's semantics. No, nobody that makes that.
There's no distinction. So when people say,
no,
I'm going to study the Torah, and when people say, I'm going to study Torah, there's no difference in meaning.
That's right.
So when we ask the rabbi, what does the Torah say, or are we going to read from the Torah on Monday, the rabbi is saying, oh, does he mean we're going to read from the Rambam or Rashi?
When we're going to study Torah, right? Me and you are going to study Torah together.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean anything specific unless you make it specific.
What about if we're going to study the Torah?
No different. That's it. That's nothing. That's not a difference.
Well, I'll submit to the viewers that
no.
That when the definite article is used,
that is crap.
That is understood.
That is stupid.
Clearly and plainly as the Torah.
Can you show a source for that? Because that's just pulled out of your ass, and there's absolutely nothing divine about it.
Okay, the Holy Rabbi is going to be divine here for a moment because he's going to read accurately from Rashi.
I can't find it. I'll have to come back.
Okay, we can come back to it.
Yeah.
So why does the Parsha keep referring to Yitro as Moshe's father-in-law? Why can't they just say it once or twice? Why is it every single time it's Moshe's father-in-law, Moshe's father-in-law, Moshe's father-in-law?
I just answered that.
Answer it again.
That the point is we're making a point to show that Yitro, right, is become smaller to Moses. In other words, Moshe, he has subjugated himself to Moses, whereas it could say Moses is the son-in-law of Yitro. Rather than do that, that would make Yitro be like the big guy, and all Moses is the son-in-law, because Yitro is this big high priest for the Midianites. Rather than do that, Torah says over and over, got to remind you, Yitro has subjugated himself to Moses because he's become a Jew. So this all gets back to the big point that Yitro is a convert. Yitro is 100% Jewish. He's the first convert. Now, to answer your other question, I know you're tuning me out now, right? You're tuning me out, right? You're tuning me out.
I'm hearing you.
Okay. There are 4 people that you named that have Parshas named after them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through those 4.
Mm-hmm.
Noah
mm-hmm.
was the first Noachide. He's the first Ben Noach, right? Well, he's not a Ben Noach, he's a Noach.
Yeah.
Right? So he's the first Noachide, right? Yisro is the first convert. So he has a special schus. He's a Jew. Balak is the wickedest person in the Torah.
Balak is the wickedest person in the Torah?
Yeah.
He doesn't even kill anyone.
Doesn't matter. He wanted to. He wanted to kill the Jews. Did he not?
No.
He didn't.
No.
I say it. And Pinchas is mentioned because he is the most righteous of the Jews, right? He's the one who didn't care. He's like, I will call a heretic a heretic. I will call out with rap sucks, I will say it. That's what we have to emulate. Pinchas is who we emulate as Jews. Okay? Balak is the Rasha. Right? So so you got a Ben Noach, why do I keep saying Ben Noach? You have a Noach, the original Noachide, who's Noach himself. You have the first convert, who's Yitro, and you have the most righteous Jew, which is Yitro. So I see 3 Jews, if you will. So there goes that, what you just said.
Wait, who's the third? There's Pinchas,
Pinchas,
Yitro.
Yitro are the 2 Jews, and
Yeah.
Noach is the first.
Noach's not a Jew.
I know, but he's the first Noachide.
What about Chaya Sarah?
The lives of Sarah. She's a Jew. She's the first Jewish woman.
And that's the name of a Pasha.
Yeah, she's the first Jewish woman. So your whole thing about how come there's no Jews named in the Torah is wrong.
Well, Noah's not a Jew.
Well, yeah, but he's a Noachide. He's like a Jew. He's Jew-like. He's Jewish-like. he's training wheels, if you will.
So Jews are one of the first nations, if not the first nation in the world that you could convert to. You could not convert to being an Egyptian.
Okay, I found it. It's the very first Rashi.
Go ahead and read it.
He says it himself. I want you to teach these 2 words. Do you know what teach means?
No.
Translate. Can you read Hebrew, these 2 words?
Okay, Yud, Tet, Resh, and a vowel.
Vav.
Yitro.
Yisro.
Okay, Lamed, Chuf, Tet,
Shin.
Shin,
Sorry.
Shin, Nun,
Yes.
Chet,
No, that's a Tav.
Taf, Nun,
That's a Gimel.
Gimel.
Okay, I didn't realize this was so difficult for you. That's okay, that's okay. I'll help you out. Lakesha Nis Gayer.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what that means?
No.
Yisro, right?
Mm-hmm.
Le for Kesha when he
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Nis Gayer when he became Ger, when he converted. Okay? So Rashi says it beferish, right? Yisro, when he converted, V'kayim ha-mitzvahs, yeah, and he started to fulfill the Torah, right? Not the Bible, but the Torah, right? Hosifu lo os achas. He was given an additional letter, right? Al Shemo, on his name. So right there, I don't need to know anything else other than that. That's all I need to know. Right here, first Rashi, Yisro is a ger. He's a Jew.
What if there was another commentator? I'm not saying there is, but what if there was, like the equivalent of an Ezra?
Can you show me an equivalent? Can you show me any Rishon who says that Yisro was not a ger? Can you show me that? Yes or no?
As I said, no, I can't.
Then,
But what if
then this point is mute.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay.
I'm making a point. What if there was another Rishon that said
that he wasn't?
Yeah.
Then I would need to look at that, and I would take that into. But you see, you see the problem with your question. The Masorah has always been that he was a ger because he was a ger, right? That's why Rashi brings it down, right? The fact that there is no Rishon who says otherwise
How do you know?
is why I've never heard it.
I wonder what the Rashbam has to say, because he...
Do you want me to look and see what the Rashbam has to say?
Sure. Look and see what the Rashbam
Is there a
has to say.
Rashbam on this page? Hang on. There's a Rashbam. Asher Asa Lamo, he doesn't even talk about it. He's got no problem with it whatsoever. There's no Rashbam.
So as I was saying, Jews are the first nation in the world you could convert to. You cannot convert to being an Egyptian or a Babylonian. You can convert to a religion, but it's very difficult to convert for membership in a people.
So you admit that he converted.
I didn't say anything about whether he's converted or not.
So the fact that so let's talk about what we have here. Let's talk about the evidence. We have a Rashi.
We have a Rashi saying that Yitro was a convert.
He says at Beferish Rashi was a help me out. That Yisro was a convert.
Right.
You have no one to argue against that other than what?
The plain text of the Bible.
The Bible, which we